Welcome to another episode of One on One with Mitch Lafon. And joining me this week from the band Trickster, it is PJ Farley. He has a new album called Boutique Sound Frames, available now from Melodic Rock Records. Head over to melodicrock.com for more information. Let's get this one started. Here is the one, the only, PJ Farley. We are speaking with PJ Farley of Trickster. He's got a new solo album called Boutique Sound Frames. Good day, PJ. How are you?
Howdy, buddy. How are you?
Good. So a lot to talk about. I mean, you've got the solo album. We've got the last Trickster album. You toured with Kiss at some point, which I always have to hear about. But and of course, Human Era was the last Trickster album in 2015, which was absolutely brilliant. A great album. But
Thank you.
let's start off with Boutique Sound Frames. Here it is. It's the solo debut album. At this point in your career, what made you say, okay, I need to do this, and I need to do this by myself? And are these songs that you've had for like 15 years, and you said, okay, I got to get them out? Or did you say, no, last month I'm going to write these songs for this album, and here we go?
Well, to answer the first part of the question, I think Mike just kind of decided that once we finished Human Era and we were in the studio, I'd been just going through my catalog of songs and just decided that, yeah, I guess it was time to stop sitting around on them. And I'm already in studio mode with, finishing a Trickster record. I had a couple more I wanted to go in and bang out and really kind of tie in 11 songs that kind of fit in the same ballpark, so to speak, and really just get it out. It's always been kind of irking me that any time I was maybe going to do something with it, something else came up. I started recording these songs in early 2000s, and right around the time I joined a band called Raw, and that took me out on the road and recording, and went back into the whole machine for years, and then we put Trickster back together, and and then I was with Lita for a couple of years, and countless other side projects, and it was just like one thing after the other. And I think I just had some time and a little clarity to really say, all right, let me just put this friggin' thing out. And plus, nowadays, it's a lot easier than it was in that little window where it was like in the early 2000s and stuff, where like you still kind of had to get a record deal. And I'm like, you know what? I am not fighting that game. I'm just not doing that. And because that's not what these songs were meant to do. It wasn't meant to put on a record to have a couple of guys in an office tell me what they aren't and what they need to be. That's the last thing I wanted to do. It was the complete opposite. So I just held on to them, and I don't know. I guess I was confident enough in them that I would just wait. I'm like, I'll wait. They'll get out at some point. I'm not worried about it. And, now's the time where you can just make a record, put it on iTunes, or put it out yourself, or have somebody like, Andrew McNeese over at Melodic Rock Records and, help me with it. And, now it just seemed like a better time.
Yeah, it really does. Tell me how or why these songs wouldn't fit on Trickster. Like, how do you decide that's the Trickster pile and that's the PJ Farley pile in terms of songs?
Well, because I think these are songs that I just kind of, when I sat down with the guitar, whether it's just kind of try to maybe write something that could fit with Trickster or something, or these things just kind of take off themselves. And I go, all right, I get some progression, I get some melody, and then all of a sudden I start humming, and then all of a sudden a song comes out. And it's, I don't know, you just know when something is meant to be sold by yourself,
Right. Let's go back in Trickster's history, if you don't mind. The band started off, and you were all very young. In fact, most of you were under 18. Great first album, great second album, but of course the music industry changed. Talk to me about the challenges of being in a band at that time in that era, and also being in a band being so young.
Well, being in a band so young and, having that kind of success was, amazing. To be able to do that with the amount of freedom that you have at that age and kind of carelessness, in the sense that with no real financial responsibilities. Really, no job tying you down, no family. Just go out with your best friends, tour the world, make music, and just, couldn't ask for a better scenario. Nowadays, the older I got and the more I tour and stuff like that, it's still amazing and it's still such a gift. But so many other things come into play when you go out. You're leaving for a tour. It's or even if it's just for the weekend, there's planning. There's so much involved. So being in a band that was successful at that point was the cherry on top of it happening in the first place. And it's definitely apples and oranges between, when we came out with our first two records and being in that big machine and, being able to, you make the record, they set it up, you do all the press, they give you money to go out on tour, and they put you in a tour bus, and they support you, and they help you along the way. They want to sell it just as much as you want to sell it. They're with you, whereas nowadays they're not even around, let alone with you.
You're on your own.
Yeah, you're definitely on your own. The relationship between artist and label now is, from my knowledge at this point, I haven't had to really deal with a major label in, a long time. So, but I do know that it's a far cry from what it was, even back when I was on Universal with Ra, which was, it was still a headache,
You got swept up in those times, and of course the band disbanded for a while. In 2007, at the end of it, in December, what made you decide, okay, let's give this another kick in the can? Why not just go on to another project or just stay with Lita Ford? Or what made you say, okay, we got to try this one more time?
I joined Lita Ford in 2009, so we put Trickster together back a year before that, 2008.
Right.
And so we were just kind of, it was Steve's idea. He was, he'd been talking to, our agent and just kind of testing the waters. And, he said to me one day, he's like, why don't we just, try it, do a handful of shows and just see how it goes. And, to be honest, I was the skeptical one of the bunch. Not because I didn't want to do it at all, or there was anything internally keeping the band from doing it. None of that stuff whatsoever, just in my head. I just, we all had a lot going on, and I just felt that I was a little worried that we, how would it be? I didn't want to be one of those bands that would, phoning it in and just kind of doing it for the cash grab and, underselling it. I didn't think that we were going to, or I didn't know. We were very young when we came out. We had our thing, and I wasn't sure if we could just pick up our thing 13 years later. And so I was a little bit nervous about that. But at the end of the day, we all agreed to do it. To kind of baby steps. And baby steps have Rocklahoma be our first show, but nonetheless, we did good handful of shows that year, and it just felt great. By the time we got in the dressing room the first day, it was just like, all right, this is cake. So we continued on from there. And in 2009, ironically, was just a really slow year for the band. And then I joined Lita's band, and then I was juggling both for a couple of years. And at one point, all three. It was with Ra and a couple of other things. So it's been a pretty chaotic.
Yeah, not a bad thing. Now, earlier you mentioned that Trickster are working on a follow-up to Human Era. When do you think that'll see the light of day? And is that also going to go over on the same label as Human Era, or where is that coming out?
I said that?
Well, you did say at the beginning that you were working on a new album with Trickster.
I did?
Yes. Well, so I heard. We'll go back and play the tape. Well, okay, then are you working on new music with Trickster?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
But, I was quoted on something saying, it's not on our radar right now, which, I meant that in the sense that just like Human Era, before that came about, that making that record wasn't on our radar at the time when Frontiers approached us to make the record. they just came calling, they're like, you guys, would you want to make another record? And really, that's kind of what started it. So, I mean, we were just, happy with doing shows on New Audio Machine, and then they asked to do another record. So we did it, and, this record's barely, Human Error is barely a year old. So we're just, just doing shows on that, and, we might do another record. It's no rush, but
well, we'll see. And I'm going to check that audio tape. I'm sure you said it, but then let me ask you this: then, what keeps a band like Trickster making music? Because at this point, you're really selling the shows based on the name, not on new music, and that's the same with
right.
Kiss and with Aerosmith. I mean, that's no insult to the band. It's what it
right,
is.
Of course.
So, what makes you decide as a band, other than Frontiers throwing money at you, say, you know what, we've got something to say. Let's go do this.
Well, I think, it's, and I'm a firm believer that, look, there are bands out there that A, don't need to make new records, and B, should stop making records. I mean, and who knows? I'm more than confident that there's people out there saying the same about us. But, we just as a band, the four of us, the same guys, I think, and we've always been very, creative and productive. And you throw into the mix, a label, and the label for our genre to come and ask us to make records for them and give us money. It just seemed like a no-brainer. We can do it, and so it was kind of easy to say yes to.
Yeah,
we certainly weren't making new records to go, all right, look, this is the reform of the band, and we are going to show the world what Trickster is about. Not at all. We're like, we know when we go do festivals, we know what the set list can contain. And if we can squeak in some new stuff, we will. Because, we do get a good response to the stuff. It's not going to be, new material heavy on short sets, by any stretch. So, we know what time it is when it comes to that. But, like I said, we had a great label approach us, and we're more than capable to do it. So why not?
Why not? So let's talk about some of those older bands, and one in particular. You opened for Kiss back, I guess it was on the Revenge tour, their Revenge tour. What was that experience like, and were you a fan of the band? Because aren't most of us fans of Kiss?
My God, I mean, this to say a fan is an understatement. I mean, Kiss was the seed, that was the dream. To play with Kiss, forget it. And I mean, to walk into the arena that first day and to see all their road cases and all the stuff, it's like surreal. I mean, it wasn't, it wasn't the, Love Gun tour or anything, but it was amazing just to be there every night and watch them every night and be able to chat with them and hang out a little bit. It's just, surreal. So, I mean, for that to happen at that point in our career was a dream come true, no question about it.
And of course, you probably learned from watching them. Is that a situation where somebody from the band, meaning Kiss, comes and says, hey, this new hot band Trickster is really great, let's go get them on tour? Or is it your record company that approaches Kiss's management and says, can we get on this tour? Can we buy on to this tour?
I think it was it was our booking agents that just made it happen. I think we really got lucky. I'll say that. I think, our record was coming out at the same time that they needed, someone to go out with. And we had great success on the first record, and they just kind of put their faith in us that we would, have the same success in the second one. Boy, were they wrong.
A little bit, but
we had fun and we kicked ass every night, that's for sure. But our booking agents hashed all that out. I don't think it was Gene and Paul going, let's get Trickster.
Right. All right. Steve Brown, of course, your partner in crime here. He's been standing in the sidelines at Def Leppard shows. Is that something that is affecting Trickster in terms of your future and your ability to tour and your ability to record, or is it totally non-consequential?
This is a kind of different animal. It's, you know, it's become something to where we are more than prepared for if it happens. I mean, but we love and cherish the fact that it's just the four of us here, and we've been able to. I mean, we've reformed and been together longer than most bands back in the day were together the first time. You know, and it's like, but you know, we are much older now, and things do come up. I mean, there are shows that I couldn't do when I was out with Lita, and you know, we've had sub situations, and it's just life gets in the way at this point. You know, as much as we can possibly do it, we're all four of us going to play together, and we do. I mean, but like I said, there have been times where there's been subs, and like last summer, you know, Steve got the call, he had to go out with them for a couple of weeks, and we had shows booked, commitments, flights, you know, deposits, the whole nine, and you know, we just kind of rolled the dice. Just like if I was away, you know, we roll the dice and, you know, see how it goes over. At the end of the day, you know, I mean, we're Trickster, and it's, you know, it's not like, you know, I don't know. It's not like.
Well, I think but I think the obvious solution is to have Trickster open up for Def Leppard on the tour. I mean, that's the
clearly.
Easy. I mean, right? Why hasn't anybody thought of that?
I mean, it's, you know, they get us for a really good price.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. But those discussions we're definitely willing to entertain. Let's just say that.
Yeah. I mean, that
obviously perfect world scenario. That would be amazing. But yeah, I mean, you know, if they you know, God forbid. I mean, obviously it's such a catch-22. You know, I mean, it's amazing thing for him and for us. You know, because it happens to him, but it happens for us. You know, but the reason it happens is, you know,
not good.
Obviously,
it's just not
double-edged sword.
Right.
No, I mean, it's so confusing. You know, we hate the fact that, you know, it was because Viv was sick, and you know, so wish him nothing but the best. And I don't know, we just want everyone to be happy.
Yeah, it is really a double-edged sword. I mean, it's a great opportunity for Steve, and it's great that he's there to replace. But yeah. So we'll move on from there. Let's, and of course, all my love goes out to Viv. I wish him nothing but the best. And,
right, absolutely.
And for you, though, where does that leave you in terms of Boutique Sound Frames? Will you be going out and doing solo shows, solo acoustic shows? Are you joining, you know, another band for a summer tour? Are you going to be like in another Lita Ford situation? Where does PJ Farley go for 2016?
You know, when it comes to, you know, playing, I love playing with different people. I love it so much. It keeps me on my toes, and I just thrive on being in a new situation. So I'm always open to anything. If somebody calls, let's talk. Same with, you know, solo shows. I have, you know, Rock and Skull Festival in Joliet, Illinois in October, booked right now as my first confirmed solo show. And but if something, you know, more stuff like that comes up, you know, I'm definitely open to discussion. You know, it's kind of hard for me to kind of go out and say, all right, let me book a tour. And, you know, it's hard for anyone these days, let alone, you know, me pushing my own little solo record here. But I definitely want to do some shows, you know, more than just the one, whether it be solo acoustic or, you know, I'd like to stick with full band stuff. But, you know, I would definitely go out and do some solo stuff, or, you know, even like a duo. You know, just bring the stuff to the stage, you know, after all these years. Absolutely. And, you know, so I'm open to everything. This is what I do for a living. Me making music and playing music is what I love to do. So that's all I want to do. So anytime the phone rings, I pick it up.
Pick it up and keep going. Is Boutique Sound Frames a one and done, or do you see yourself doing other solo albums, whether it's in 2 years, 3 years, or even 6 months from now? How do you see that going?
I don't know. I could see me doing another one. I still have some stuff left over in the first place, but now that I kind of feel like now that it's out, I can start, like, I've had all these songs in my head and just in my catalog for so long that it's almost
cathartic.
Prevented me from, it kind of prevented me from moving on. Like, it's almost like I got to put this stuff out before I really start finishing other things. But so now that that's kind of almost, out and it's taken on its own life, some headspace frees up, and I'm not opposed to it. I don't know if it'll happen, but I'm not opposed to it. But I could definitely put out some more music in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, we're certainly looking forward to it because Boutique Sound Frame certainly came out quite well. It's a great album, fun album. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
So there you go. And there you go. So if folks want it, you head over to melodicrock.com. Andrew over there has a link to buy it and all that, and I do recommend that you pick it up. PJ, great pleasure.
Yeah, you can find it also on iTunes and, Spotify, Amazon,
right.
pjfarley.net. You can get physical copies, and my merch store's up there. And like you said, melodicrockrecords.com. You can get physical copies for those that still enjoy opening a CD and reading the, liner notes and the lyrics, and, just having something in your hand as opposed to just having it in your phone.
Yeah,
but it's, it's available everywhere. So
I'm one of those, and I believe Alice Cooper is the one who said this best. I would rather not own air. I'd rather have something, and so I agree with that. PJ, great pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, Mitch. Thanks for having me, and thanks for talking.
Absolutely, and we'll do this again soon.
All right, awesome. Thanks.
And bring Trickster and yourself up to Canada. We've got a couple of places here that need you, and I can certainly help you with that if you need any indications on how to do it.
Right on. We're game. We were up in Toronto like 2 years ago, I think, but that was, was it Toronto?
Yeah.
Just outside Toronto. That was as close as we got to, I think, where you are. Where are you at exactly?
I'm in Montreal, but
okay.
I work in conjunction with a bar out of Toronto out of Ottawa called the Brass Monkey. And so if you need a gig there, we can get you there, and we can get you in Toronto.
Well, we do.
So let's do it. There. So send me an email later, and we'll get you up here because I think the world needs more rock, and we certainly need more PJ and Trickster in our lives. So there you go.
Right on.
Thank you, sir.
Mitch.
Cheers.
Okay, bye-bye.
And there you have it, folks, my interview with PJ Farley of the band Trickster. His new solo album is called Boutique Sound Frames. Head over to melodicrock.com for more information. And while you're out there checking stuff out, check me out on Twitter at Mitch Lafon, MITCHLAFON, and on Facebook on Facebook it would be one-on-one Mitch Lafon. So there you go. Thank you for listening, and I'll be back soon with another episode. Coming up, we've got Alan Parsons, Rich Robinson of the Black Crowes, Glenn Sobel of the Alice Cooper Band, and more. Thank you, and bye for now. Oh my.